Hey all, this is the third tutorial. This is more in relationship to what you'll be doing in one of your module problem sets. So I'm going to end up giving you something like this, just a um, particular entry, and you're not going to know what it is. You'll just know that, and you're going to get, oh, here we go. And I'm going to ask you questions like, for example, what's the name of the protein? And you're going to say it's the cellular tumor antigen P53. And then I'm going to ask you a question like, is this entry reviewed or not reviewed? And the answer is it's reviewed because obviously it has the gold Uniprot KB, which is important to know on that particular thing. And then from there, I'm going to ask you some other questions, and we're just going to kind of get down the list about this particular thing. I then might ask you questions about where you could find information about isoforms of this particular entry. And obviously your answer would be sequence and isoforms, because I might ask you how many isoforms are there. And in a scenario like this, the good news is that it tells you right here that there's 9 isoforms to it. And so there's all the 9 down there. Also, I might ask you if any of them have been curated, and all you need to do is look and see whether they've been curated. That one has, this one hasn't, that one hasn't. So you can, that's kind of just a generic so far so good. And then from there, like another fair question be like, what are there any sort of natural variants that happen at amino acid position 138? And what is that? You're like, how would you know that? Well, if we go to disease and variants and we scroll down, not only do we see the diseases associated with P53, but oh, look at this. What do you know? Variants. Are there any variants at position 138? There are. There's 2 of them. You can see here that both of these particular variations are different, and specifically you can see here the alanine, which is supposed to be the wild type amino acid, when it changes to a proline, this is what it could cause, and then an alanine changing to a serine would cause this particular mutation. Of course, this one also has a database connection to it. You'll see this is back to NCBI, and you can get even more information about this particular variation if you wanted to. So a couple more things. Could also ask you for the fastest sequence of isoform number 2. How would you find that? Again, well, this is a little easier. We just go to isoforms. There's the first one, right? Here's the second one, but where's the sequence? I don't see it. Oh, that's because we just have to expand it, show the sequence. And so this is the actual amino acid sequence of isoform 2 of P53. And like I did before, I could ask you a lot of other things I've covered in other videos, like where is this particular protein found? And you would obviously click here and find, oh, look at that. A lot of different places. So that is some example of the newer things that I would ask with this. So I do want to move into one other thing if I go back to Uniprot, is how to be more specific. In other words, how can you find a more specific search item? Here's it going. As you can probably tell by my voice, I have allergies. I am allergic to dust mites, which are basically around 24/7, 365, so I always sound like I have a cold, and especially right now it's the spring, I also have allergies to a lot of things. So let's just, how would we look for all of the, for example, fungi, fungal proteins that are annotated with some sort of allergic property or an allergy? The best way to do that would be to go to advanced. And from here we can say, all right, well, taxonomy. And see, they say human, they're giving you a hint. Well, fungi, let's start with that. And then we could either do keyword or we can do all. And so let's just type allergen and see what happens when we do that. And you can see we have 111 results. So in existence, there's probably way more than 111 fungal proteins that cause allergens, but these are the ones that are actually annotated together. So that would be a question I could potentially ask. And you can see how this kind of search would be, very useful. So let's try a different search. Oh, I don't know. Let's take a look. Let's do Golgi. So, excuse me. Let's take a look this time at subcellular location. Um, and we can do, let's see. You'll notice here that we can do a note or a term. We can choose kind of whatever we want. We can do transmembrane. We can get even more specific if we want. We can also be general like this. So let's see if we can do Golgi. Oh, look at that, we can. So let's just say something with a Golgi that's been reviewed. So let's see if we have any options for review. Oh, look, we do. And then let's search for that. And you'll see there's 6,246 results. So that's a lot. I could obviously then go back, or I could hit advanced, and I could get more specific with what I want to look at from there. So let me just do one last one. So here's the last one. If I were to give you, like, for example, this protein right here, I would give you the Uniprot entry, which would be this. And I would say, here's the Uniprot entry. I would say, like, what is it? All the other things I just did in this video. Then also, what would be like the most aligned protein to this one? What's the most similar protein to that? There's a bunch of ways you can do it. A lot of times, if you just scroll down, there was information about that. But an even better way, instead of me going farther in that, is just really hitting blast. And it's automatically going to put here the sequence. And if we run blast, I'm going to pause the video for a second here. So let's see what we get here. We just click on completed. And there we go. There's, oh, and what do you know? Look at that. We obviously have the chimpanzee, which makes complete sense. And we can see the difference between the two here. We can also do alignments. We could, if we wanted to, do something like this and align just the selected results. And then what you can't see on the screen, let me move this down, is a button under here says, whoop, run a line. So let's do that. And we run a line, and it's going to basically do another. This is all the history of what I've done. So I'm going to pause the video again while it does the alignment. All right, so it's done the alignment. Let's see here. And there we are. We can see there's a little bit of difference here at the end. Probably, and again, this can be caused by a few things. A lot of times when you see something like at the very end, there is some sort of difference. It could sometimes be just the inputted sequence where they didn't finish it, especially because the top one, by the way, as you can see, is annotated and curated and reviewed, and the bottom one isn't. But again, it's just a great tool to be able to take a look at this. You can also make trees with it, but again, there's only two things, so they're just going to be connected to each other. So that's just another kind of video to show you what I want to show you for this course through Uniprot. It can do way more than that, but if you decide to go further down the rabbit hole of bioinformatics, there's much more to learn.